I caught my girlfriend with her affair partner in a hotel room, exposed it, and she lost her job. That's how this all went down. And trust me, it's a story. I'm 31. 5 years ago, I met Karen. She was 29, fresh out of a bad relationship. Her ex was a real piece of work. Got her pregnant in her senior year of college, cheated on her, and was physically abusive. She finally left him and moved back in with her parents, bringing her young son, Bobby, with her. My buddy Dave's wife, Angie, was one of Karen's sorority sisters, and she introduced us. We hit it off, started dating, and after a few months, Karen and Bobby moved in with me. The first couple of years were solid. I pushed her to go back to school and finish her degree, and my old man even hooked her up with a job at his company. Things were good, or so I thought. About a year and a half ago, Karen reconnected with some of her sorority sisters. They started this girls' night out thing every other Saturday. She also began hitting up happy hour with coworkers now and then. When I brought it up, she got defensive. Arguments started brewing. Angie, Dave's wife, eventually told him that Karen was flirting like crazy when they were out, to the point where it was making her uncomfortable. Dave gave me a heads up. So, one of those Saturday nights, I showed up at the bar. Sure enough, she was there, laughing it up, and some guy had his hands on her. I walked straight up, told the dude to take his hands off my girlfriend, and told Karen it was time to leave. The drive home was ugly. We fought the whole way. She ended up sleeping on the couch. The next morning, she apologized, blamed it on having too much to drink, and said she just got carried away. I told her that wasn't good enough. If we were going to make this work, we needed counseling. We needed to actually fix things. The girls' nights were definitely off the table until we made some real progress. I figured we could get past it, that she just needed to straighten up. I wanted to believe her. Fast forward 2 months. I could tell something was off. She started acting sketchy, always glued to her phone, taking it with her everywhere, and leaving the room to use it. When I tried to talk to her, she just got evasive, denying anything was wrong. I called Dave and Angie, laid out my suspicions. That's when Angie finally admitted Karen had been talking to an old college boyfriend. They were flirting, supposedly just texting. When Angie confronted her about it, Karen apparently said that if she could keep both of us happy and I didn't find out, what was the harm? She told Angie I was a great provider, good with Bobby, and she didn't want to lose that. But she needed more. Hearing that from Angie hit me like a ton of bricks. Devastating doesn't even begin to cover it. But Angie swore the old boyfriend lived in Houston, so it was just long-distance flirting, nothing physical. I wanted to believe that, needed to believe it. Then came the wedding. One of Karen's sorority sisters was getting married, and we'd made plans to go. But a few days before, Bobby developed an ear infection and needed tubes installed. He couldn't fly. I volunteered to stay with him. It was a 3-day event, rehearsal dinner, bachelorette party, shower, then the wedding. After the rehearsal dinner, Dave called me. He said Karen's old boyfriend had shown up. They were hanging out, being very indiscreet. Dave even sent me a couple of photos, including a short video of them making out at the hotel. My stomach dropped. That hollow feeling. It started right there. I called Karen's dad, told him Bobby had an emergency, and asked if he could watch him so I could drive down for the wedding. I dropped Bobby off at his place on the way out of town. It was a long 6-hour drive. Driving through the night, a million thoughts racing through my head. I got there late, just before sunrise. I got to her hotel room. I could hear laughing from inside. My blood ran cold. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again. Harder. Still nothing. The third time, I hammered on the door. Karen finally opened it, wearing just her robe. I walked straight in, and there he was. Some guy, naked, in her bed. I introduced myself. Didn't say much else. Just told him he should leave, quickly. He didn't argue. He got dressed and walked out without a word. I turned back to Karen. She was still standing there, robe barely covering her, clearly undressed underneath. I asked her to explain herself. She just got mad, started making excuses, then accusations, yelling about how I was invading her privacy. I just stared at her, the words she'd said to Angie echoing in my head. If she could keep both of them happy and I didn't find out about it, then what was the harm? Enough, I said, my voice surprisingly calm, given the storm inside me. We're through. I'm leaving. If you decide to come back, you can get your things and get out of my life. I turned and walked back into the hall. The door to her room was still open, as loud as we got in there. I'm sure we put on a pretty good show for the dozen or so people standing outside, including Angie. Her face was pure shock. I didn't stop, just kept walking. I drove all the way back home. pulling into my driveway just as the sun was coming up. I crashed hard. The next morning, I started boxing up all her clothes. But when I got to her lingerie drawer, all that sexy stuff we'd bought together, I just grabbed it all, along with her party and club wear, and threw it into a separate box, took it straight to Goodwill. No reason for her to have that shit. A couple of days later, her flight landed. She called me from the airport, but her number was still blocked. She had to Uber home. When she walked in, there were over a dozen boxes stacked in the living room, all her and Bobby's stuff, packed and ready to go. I told her Bobby was at her parents' house, said she could call her dad and have him help haul the rest of her stuff wherever she planned on staying. She tried to talk her way out of it, started with the usual apologies, how it was a mistake, how she was confused, but I wasn't listening to any of her stories. She tried to load her suitcases into the car, but her key fob wouldn't work. I told her both cars were in my name, and if she tried to take one, I'd report it stolen. Her dad showed up soon after. I gave him the short version, just the facts, no embellishments, on why we were breaking up. He didn't say much, but we shook hands before he left. That was a week ago. Dave and Angie cut contact with Karen. Apparently, our drama at the hotel spilled over the next day at the wedding ceremony, overshadowed the whole damn thing. Karen reached out a couple of times. We talked, but I told her there was no way back for us. Even so, she refuses to give up. Says she still wants us. Right now, I just have this hollow feeling inside. I eat, go to work, come home, and try to sleep. I'm not mad anymore, just numb, maybe a little sad, and honestly, confused about what to do next. Talking about it out loud is hard as hell, but it felt good to finally let it all out. Just to clarify, the guy at the wedding wasn't Bobby's dad, just some dude she dated in college. Bobby's dad was a genuinely abusive piece of shit. Karen ended up in the ER a couple of times because of him. Angie drove her to the hospital the last time, so that much I know is true. The cheating part. I've got no proof other than what Angie told me and what I saw with my own eyes. Thanks for the words of support from everyone who reached out. I figured I'd post an update since a few of you asked. Dad texted me this morning. Said Karen got let go today. He said she took it like a true diva. They even had a security guard watch her pack her personal stuff and walk her out the front door. I'm sure eventually the blame will somehow be mine. Wednesday, I finally got all of her stuff out of the house and blocked her on everything. Got a letter in the mail Thursday, 2 pages of how she made a terrible mistake. How she just thought she needed to get some stuff out of her system so she could fully devote herself to me. A lot of pleading and promises in that letter. Got an email from the maid of honor at the wedding. She thanked me for the gift and offered her condolences about what happened at the hotel. Apparently, the affair partner had a girlfriend who wasn't at any of the pre-wedding functions but flew in for the ceremony. She heard all the stories of the days leading up to the wedding. She was expecting to attend the wedding with him, but he was a no-show. Guess his little hotel rendezvous wasn't as discreet as he thought. Karen's dad and I talked again. We both came to the conclusion that it was better if I just stepped out of Bobby's life. That way, Karen couldn't use him as a pawn and really mess with his head. Bobby needed to move on and adjust to his new normal without me being a point of contention. Her dad asked me some pretty direct questions. Wanted details I would have preferred to leave out. He was both sad and angry. I think that special daddy-daughter bond took some major damage after all this. One of Karen's sorority sisters reached out to me. We had dinner. She said with all I had done for Karen, I deserved so much better. She went on about how Karen embarrassed herself and how none of them wanted anything to do with her now. The rest of the dinner was about me, how I was feeling, what I was doing to get past this and move on. By dessert, it had moved to her suggesting that if I needed to talk, grab a drink, or maybe a movie, I should give her a call. It was a nice thought, even if I wasn't really in a place to act on it. I've been trying to fill my time, keep my mind busy. I rearranged all my rooms, threw out some decorative stuff, and replaced it with something different. I also replaced most of the lighting with remote LEDs and added some colored backlighting. The house has a different feel, a different look now. Next up, I'm planning to repaint Bobby's room and turn it into a guest room, just trying to erase some of the old. I upgraded gyms and signed up for some personal training. My trainer is a Q trainer, and I swear she's trying to kill me. Just trying to fill my time so I don't sit and think too much. Don't fall back into that rabbit hole. Tonight, I'm heading out to our favorite watering hole, just to hang out with some friends. Take things one day at a time. It's a process. I'm moving through this. She destroyed her own life. Not me. She needs to drop this victim act and recognize she blew it. It's over. I feel bad for Bobby. This is effectively the second father he's lost. But it sounds like Karen's dad will be there to explain to him why I left one day. Hopefully, His grandpa can step in and be the father figure he needs. I'm just focused on improving myself now.